Okay, so it's going to be f of x equals negative 3 x squared minus 7 over 3x plus 1. Please note the plus 7x changes to minus, okay, when you're dividing by negative 3, the sign switch. Jennifer, can you be brave, please, and tell me what to do next? Great. Negative 7 over 3 divided by 2 squared. All right, Grace, what's negative 7 over 3 divided by 2, please?
This is negative 7 over 3 multiplied by 1 over 2.
Right.
That's negative 7 over 6.
Great. Wonderful, tremendous, awesome. Adam, what is negative 7 over 6 squared, please? Wonderful. And as I keep saying to you guys, it's in the curriculum. I have to teach you completing square fractions. Okay, right? So that's what this is. Okay, Riley, I'd like to be brave, please, and tell me what do I do next. Great. So this is going to be f of x equals negative 3 bracket x squared minus 7 over 3x plus 49 over 36 minus 49 over 36 plus 1. Great, tremendous, awesome. Okay, by the way, I'm going through this at 100 miles an hour. If something is not clear, please be brave and ask questions, okay? Because if you guys don't ask questions, I just pretend that everyone knows what's going on and keep going. All right, Liam. Yeah. What do I do next, please?
Take out negative 3.
Great. I'm going to times that by negative 3, and I should get a plus 49 over 12, I think. Liam, you're not done yet. No. For some reason, I wrote 12 out of 12 after that. Why did I choose to write 12 out of 12? Yeah, like one's, right, one's the same as 12 over 12, right? So it's going to be the same thing. Yeah, right, so? Yeah, so what I did there, I just times this by negative 3, right? So when you times it by negative 3, you can either make the numerator bigger or divide the denominator. So it'd be like, really, it's 147 over 36, but in most terms is divided by 12. Okay? And it'll always work out, the denominator will always come smaller. All right, Julia, finish this up, please. Sorry, that's a negative 3. What's the bracket going to? No, what is this factor? This is going to factor into something, right? I hope.
Yeah, okay. So I was going to do
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Negative 7 over 6.
Yeah, good. So x minus 7 over 6.
Yeah. Square.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. All right, Brad, it's time to shine. What's the vertex and which way is it open, please?
Vertex is 7 over 6.
Right. And remember, it opens down because that negative 3 in the front. That's just opening upwards downwards. The x coordinate switches from positive, from negative inside the bracket into positive outside. And 61 over 12 is slide off. Okay, questions, fears, comments? Okay, completing the square, you will need to do this in today's lesson. So I need to make sure this is good.
So 39 over 12, that's, you just times it.
Yeah, that was this times this. Right, so it's going to be negative 3 times 49 divided by 36. And I realized that 36 divided by 3 to be 12 in the denominator. So what I did there, well, I'll show it up here. So it was really, I did negative 3 over 1 times negative 49 over 36. Okay, what I did is I just cheated like this, and I called that a 12. So it's positive 49 over 12. That's why I did. If you don't like that way, you can do negative 3 times negative 49 over 12, which is positive 147 over 12, which in lowest terms is 49 over 12. So either, so what's the time? That's 36.
36.
Yeah, sorry, 36 and 36. Okay. I just will go to this one directly because it's easier. Okay, any other questions with that before I keep going here? You guys are all masters of completing the square? I hope. I know Austin is at least. Austin nodding his head. That's good. Austin makes me happy. Confidence is wonderful. All well, Chris. You're off the next week. For what day? It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That isn't it. We want 5, 6, 10C, 10F, and 17. Oh my goodness. Okay, can I go to somebody's textbook? Oh, man, more than that. Okay, is it on our site? Don't bring it.
46.
Well, some people like to do their homework at lunch and stuff like that, right? So this is 46, number 5 to 6. Okay, I'm not going to do all of these.
5, 7. Do 17.
I'm going to pick, just doesn't really matter, pick 36, I don't know, 6D. All it says is find the inverse of each linear function by interchanging the variables. So they're saying f of x equals negative 1/5 x minus 2. Okay, how do you find the equation of an inverse? Somebody that was here yesterday. How do you find the equation of an inverse? Yes?
Switches around.
Yeah, you switch the x and the y around. So the first step is going to be call that y equals negative 1/5 x minus 2. And then an inverse should be x equals negative 1/5 y minus 2. So the x and the y get switched. Now we're going to solve for y. Can I get someone with a great deal of self-confidence? So raise your hand and tell me how to solve for y. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah? Okay, so we did everything over. Great, so what she did there correctly, mind you, was you moved the y and the x back and forth, so the y was on the left and x on the right. Okay, 1/5 y, how do you get rid of that 1/5? What do we do? This goes for anybody, not just those who were here yesterday. One person knows. Krista, go ahead. Divide by 1/5. Another way, I'm going to times by 5. It's the same as dividing by 1/5. Okay, so y is going to be 5 bracket negative x minus 2, which is going to be, and I'm going to call that f inverse x is negative 5x minus 10.
That's what they did.
Uh-oh.
What they have in the book is 5 bracket x minus 2.
5 bracket x minus 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
Oh, okay.
It's a negative to everything, right? Negative 1/5. Yeah, that's a mistake. Right, because it has to be, because just think of the algebra here, right? Like it's impossible otherwise for that. Okay, I'm going to move on to 10, what's next? 10C? 10C. Okay. Oh boy, you guys are looking frightened for this one. Okay? You guys can do this. Don't be afraid. 10C. It says g of t. Excuse me, sorry. Equals 3t minus 2. I want to find g of 13 minus g of 7 all over 13 minus 7. All right, is that all I had to do for 10? 10 after I was asked to do too. Okay. Okay, great. How do I find g of 13? Let's start that and we'll bring it back to the end there. How do you find g of 13? Two people know. Go ahead.
So you said replacing x is
Yeah.
13.
Great. So g of 13t in this case, because we're dealing with t's, right? So g of 13 is going to be 3 times 13 minus 2, which is 39 minus 2. So g of 13 is 37. Okay, so when I go back over here, this is going to equal 37. So you see what I just did there? I just replaced the g of 13 with 37, so I did my rough work on the right. Okay, Robin, since it's your turn, I don't want to miss you. Can you tell me how to find g of 7, please? Okay, good, so go ahead. Okay, that's 21 minus 2, which happens to be 19. Okay, so 37 minus 19 all over 6. You're okay with that algebra so far? Yes? Good? Okay, 37 minus 19 I think is 18. Is that right?
Yeah.
18 over 6 equals 3, so that equals 3.
Yeah.
Alright? So that's just something in value. Now, for 13F, 10F looks scary. Okay, it looks frightening, tremendously awful. Okay, it's the same question. It says G inverse of 13 minus g inverse of 7. All right, so what I'm going to do is I have to find the equation for 10f. I need to find the equation of g inverse first. Okay, then it said here it was g inverse 13 minus g inverse of 7 all over 13 minus 7. The first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to set, we have g of t equals 3t minus 2. I have to solve for g inverse. Can I get someone who's brave to tell me how to find g inverse? What's the first step? Yeah, go ahead.
Put it into y equals 3t minus 2.
Good.
And then switch the variables.
Good.
T equals 3 over y minus 2.
Great.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So then it's 3y equals t plus 2.
Good.
And then divide t plus 2 by 3 to get y.
F inverse t equals t plus 2. Wonderful. Tremendous. Excellent. Cool. We're good? All well? Okay. So now we've made our equation. Now we just sub in the, so that should be f, which would be g inverse, right? Not f inverse. Okay, so there's my g inverse. Now I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to do this very quickly if you don't mind. Mind if I do this quickly? I don't care if you mind or not, because I'm doing it quickly. Okay, so g inverse 13 is 13 plus 2 over 3, which happens to be 5. Okay, so if you're wondering how I got that, 13 plus 2 is 15, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. G inverse of 7 is 7 plus 2 over 3, which is 9 over 3, which happens to be 3. So you just type it back in over here. It's going to be 5 minus 3 over 6, which is 2 over 6. Okay, that's basically what we did in yesterday's lesson if you weren't here. The concept was you take the x and the y, you switch them, and you solve for the y, and that's good. Okay, someone okay? 17? What's next? What's the have to solve here? 17 and that's it? Oh, yes. I do this one, I put this one on my final exam before. So please put a star beside this one. It says f of x equals k times 2 plus x. Find k if f inverse of negative 2 equals negative 3. Now this is where you really have to understand what inverses are all about. Sorry. Okay, this is a challenging question. Once you understand what inverses are all about, you will totally get this. Raleigh, are you with me here? Please be with me here. Okay. What's another way I can write f inverse of negative 2 equals negative 3? And this is the key to this question. How can I write that in a different form? Maybe involving f of x somehow. Find out that f inverse of negative 2 is equal to negative 3. What else do I know? Yeah, go ahead. Right, not 3, f negative 3. Right, so remember that we're saying for inverses, x and y's are switched, right? So if you're saying f inverse of negative 2 equals negative 3, so that tells us that f of negative 3 is equal to negative 2, right? Because the x and the y's got switched. Very good. Okay. So now I can nicely solve this. Okay. Now that I have that, somebody tell me how I can solve for x. Right, solve it here. Good. So I'm going to say here then, if I know that f of negative 3 is equal to negative 2, I'm going to say that negative 2 equals k 2 plus negative 3. Somebody tell me how I got that. Yeah, right? This is like your y value. This is our original equation we got with x here. That changed to negative 2. Our x value is negative 3, and our y value is negative 2. Now it's just algebra. Okay, so negative 2 equals k 2 minus 3, negative 2 equals negative k. And that's a fabulous question. I've asked that in previous courses on their tests on the first test. Okay, just to see if people understand what inverse is relevant.
I don't know either.
Sorry?
I don't know either.
Which part?
Uh,
Did you get this part though? Okay, so basically remember we said that we were doing this in the lesson yesterday, right? Remember we had Good. Good. Hey, bud. Have a picture. Bye. All of them. All of them. I'm just throwing you up there. Don't throw anything. They're not getting lost.
They're broken. It's not like over already. Today, I don't know if there's a legal one.
Okay. What I used, the fact that he's here, we talked about this one yesterday, Marissa. We had a question that was like f of 3 is equal to 4. That means x, that means 3 is your input and 4 is your output. Well, the idea of an inverse is I can say that means that you switch your input and your output then, right? So 4 of your input changes to 3 of your output on the inverse. So I just did the same thing here, except for backwards. Okay, right? So negative 2 put into your inverse ends up with a negative 3 means that negative 3 in your original function gets out of negative 2. Okay, so then what I did, then I just used algebra. So f of x now is negative 2, so I subbed it in there. The x value is negative 3, so I just subbed it in for that and did algebra. Okay, what's the idea that for, it's the idea for an invert a function, it's inverse the x and the y value switch. And that's the main, that's what I was trying to show with this. Okay. This is like yesterday's lesson here. Okay, pause on the video, then I'm going to, excuse me, get started with today. All right. That was a tricky question. All right, today's lesson